Hey, welcome back everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And today we will discuss about the some basic important topics which like came into our during which usually you will face during your interviews. So we will discuss about the patching, the prerequisite for before, and what are the things that you should be aware of it before on the high availability. So yeah, and we will discuss about availability, what is disaster recovery, how to do node by node patch, and what are the what is by mode, and some other which will came in your mind while doing patching or when you read about the always on and all. Okay, so these are very basic terms, and you should aware of it before doing any patch. You should have knowledge of this. Okay, so let's continue. First, what is the prerequisite before doing any patching? If we talk about the normal server, okay, not a when the server is a non-availability group server. So in that, what you need to do, what are the prerequisite? Is first you need to take the like check the SQL Server version. Well, what is the current version, and according to that, you need to select the security updates and cumulative packs. Whatever the cumulative recent packs have been released, you need to check. Okay, so while we are talking about the cumulative and security packs, you need to understand this. Then on that, on every Tuesday, on every month of the Tuesday, on every first week of the month, there is always a release of new security packs. Okay, the Microsoft release new security packs. So okay, so sometimes in interview this kind of questions also arises, so you should be aware of it as well. Okay, so what is the prerequisite is first you need to check the SQL version, the current SQL version on the server. Then you need to check on the Microsoft official website, what is the upgraded version that has been released by the Microsoft for that particular SQL Server version. And after that, you need to download that patch. And then after downloading that patch, while you are going to apply that patch, first you need to take the full database backup of all the critical data and including the system and user database. Okay, so sometimes the question also arises that while patching the databases, in which database, basically in which system database the changes occur. Okay, so you should know that there are total six kind of system databases. Okay, you can see only four system databases, that is master, MSDB, but there is two another kind of databases also, that is resource and distribution databases. Okay, so databases only present when you have when the instances have the always on availability group, but simple databases, for simple instances which belongs to non availability group, for that the uh, there is only a database. Okay, so in the resource database only, while you apply the page, there will be only a change in the resource database, because resource database contains the object informations. Okay, all the system objects information like the stored procedure views, that is by default provided by the Microsoft. So these all information is stored in the resource. So all the security patch and all the changes applied on the access, and then check the current SQL Server versions and cumulative updates installed. And then you need to, if the server, if that instance is always on, okay, so you need to check that whether the from the dashboard, always on dashboard, you need to check the synchronization health, whether it is synchronized or not, whether the server is in synchronized mode or not. Okay, after synchronizing, you need to send the mail to the customer that we are going to apply these changes. But if you have a downtime, then it is very good, but if you do not have a downtime, then you need to take the downtime from the customer or from the stakeholder, and then you need to stop the heavy job or process during the patching, so that it does not occur any issues. And ensure there should be a sufficient free disk space on the system drive, and test the patch in the dev server first, and then do it on a prod. Okay, so these are some prerequisites before doing any patching. Now, when I am talking about the high availability, then what is the high availability and what is DR? DR means disaster recovery. So in my previous video also I shared with you, and also tell you about the log shipping, mirroring, and about the high availability and disaster recovery. If you did not watch that video until, you can watch it on my YouTube channel, on the same playlist, on the same playlist in which this video is. Okay, so again I can describe you here, I will describe you in a very I can summarize what is the HA and DR. So basically, in the log shipping is basically used for a DR for a disaster recovery, and mirroring is basically, mirroring or always on is basically used for a high availability. Okay, so always on availability group is like suspend the automatic, we can automatic failover the server in first instance, and make the secondary server as a primary server. Okay, so here and then we will patch the primary server. Okay, suppose you have server A and server B, and server A is a primary and server B is a secondary, and you need to patch the instances. Okay, so first you need to do the failover on patch A, so that on the server A, so that that is a primary, so that the server A become the secondary server, and server B become the primary server. And after doing the failover, now the server A becomes the secondary, you need to apply that patch on the server A only. Okay, that is the secondary server. So first apply the patch on the secondary server, and then apply the patch on the primary server. Not primary server, you need to do the failover again and make that primary server secondary, and then apply the patch. Okay, so always need to apply the patches on a secondary server only. Okay, going forward, what is the failover cluster instance? Failover cluster instance is basically on a Windows instance. So there will be a shared location, there shared drive on which the instances on which the data will be stored, and node by node, no, cluster by cluster, we need to do the patching. So validate the cluster health before patching. And what is log shipping and replication? Log shipping is basically transaction log, like we send the transaction log from primary to secondary after every scheduled timing. And replication is a log shipping is used for a disaster recovery, and replication is like they are like sending the data from primary to secondary after a very short period of time and in a sync mode. Okay, so there will be a no data loss, and it is used for a high availability. Okay, so for patching, monitor the sync status before starting the patching, and inform the stakeholder about the potential delay for any occur. Now, what is node by node patching? So in node by node patching and always on edges, we you can patch one node at a time to avoid the downtime. So failover the primary role to the secondary node, the same that I talked earlier, here, and the patch the old primary, now the secondary, and reboot if required, and fail back rules after verification. Okay, so the same that I discussed with you few minutes back. Okay, so what is standby mode? So if in a log shipping, the secondary database will always be in a can be in a standby or read only mode. In standby mode, what happened, database is readable for reporting while still receiving the log backups. Okay, so no recovery mode is basically database is not readable and only restoring the logs, but standby and read only is database in the readable form and for reporting and while still receiving the log backups. Now coming to what is the comparison of HA and DR technologies. So basically the high availability and disaster recovery. So basically the high availability servers, like if we talk about the always on, then the primary use of always on is for high availability as well as for the disaster recovery. And readable secondary, yes, if readable secondary is enabled, then we can read the secondary as well, and automatic failover is possible in a always on. Okay, but like if the primary server went down, then the secondary will become up. Okay, now coming to failover cluster instance, that is FCI. The primary use is that it is highly available, readable secondary. So you can't read the secondary server in FCI because they both are in a same shared locations. So you can't read the secondary until and unless you do not do the failover of primary. Okay, so you can't read the secondary server in a failover, and the automatic failover is also possible in a FCI. Yani, it means failover cluster instance. What is log shipping? Log shipping is basically the disaster recovery used for the disaster recovery purpose, and yes, it is readable when the secondary server is in a standby mode. Okay, and automatic failover is not possible in log shipping. Coming to replications, then replications is the data distribution used for the data distribution and reporting, and readable secondary server in the replication is readable, and automatic failover is not possible. Nowadays mirroring is not in use, because it is instead of mirroring, always on features has been came. So mirroring is used till 2016 and 17. So what is the primary use? It is also used for a high availability and readable. Unless you do not have a snapshot, you cannot read the secondary, and automatic failover is possible in a mirroring. Now coming to how to identify for, like suppose you received any project. Okay, and you do not have any SOPs, and you do not have any information about servers. Okay, so how do you understand whether the server is a high availability server, or what log shipping is enabled, mirroring is enabled? So first, you in all the server you need to check the always on availability group. There is in SSMS object explorer, there is an option always on options. You need to go there, expand that, and that if it is not able to expand, then it means the and always on is not to that. Okay, if you want to enable, then you need to go to the server configuration manager, go to the properties of this go SQL Server Services, go to properties. In the properties, right click on it, you will get always on features. You have to enable that, and then only you will get to see the always on availability group on your SSMS. Okay, Coming to FCI, how you need to check whether the server is enable the FCI or not. So for this you need to check on your server whether the failover cluster manager is there or not, or if not, then you need to check the services whether whether cluster node services is you need to check sys.dmos cluster nodes on your server. If it returns 0, it means it does not have FCI. If it returns 1, it means the server has the FCI feature. Coming to log shipping is like check the transaction log shipping. You can check the transaction log shipping is enabled for a database or not. First go to the database, then right click on the properties. In the properties, if that is enabled, then you can see this all the info. If not, then it will be in a disabled format. For the replication, you need to check the replication folder in the SSMS. And for mirroring, you need to go to the database and properties and the mirroring tab. Okay, if you get some information, if the database is in a mirroring mode, then you will get the information where the secondary server is, what is the name of the secondary server. If it is not, then the mirroring is not enabled for that database. Okay, so that's it from my end. If you have any question, if you have any query, then you can comment out on this YouTube channel. And yeah, if you want to if you want to meet want to make any other video, if you want me to make any other video, then please comment out the topics on which I can make the video. Okay, that's all. Thank you for watching my YouTube.